How does the process of teshuva actually transform the past? You've still done what you did, and there were consequences, and you're stuck with them. Or are you? We do teshuva for failing to perform a mitzvah or violating a prohibition, committing a sin, which means we didn't do what God wants us to do, or we did do something God doesn't want us to do. Now, generally, we assume that a mitzvah is a good thing, and a sin is a bad thing. God tells us not to sin because sinning is bad. God tells us to do a mitzvah because the mitzvah is good. Well, that's not correct. It's probably the opposite. The only reason a sin is bad is because God told us not to do it. And the only reason a mitzvah is good is because God told us to do it. So what makes a mitzvah good? It's what God wants. What makes a sin bad? It's what God doesn't want. So why does God want a mitzvah? Because it's good? No, that's what makes it good. So why does he want it? Why does God despise sin? Because it's so bad? No, it's only bad because he despises it. So why does he despise it? Well, let's put it in different words. Suppose the mitzvah was not good. Would it still be a mitzvah? What if a sin was not bad? Would it still be a sin? So what if a mitzvah didn't bring another mitzvah and a sin didn't cause another sin? The mitzvah would still be a mitzvah, the sin would still be a sin. Or, in different words, if there were no negative consequences to a sin, is it any less of a sin? If there were no benefits, no positive results from a mitzvah, would it be any less of a mitzvah? The answer is no. Now, the fact is that a sin brings a sin. That a sin does cause damage because it is bad. And a mitzvah is good. And that's why it brings another mitzvah. But even where the good and bad are irrelevant, the mitzvah is still important. So on a certain level, if you transcend the physical, there, good and bad are irrelevant. Consequences are irrelevant. There only truth exists. And truth is not connected to consequences. So the truth is true even where the consequences can't go. So God wants you to do a mitzvah even when being good isn't important. It's one of the innovations, revolutions of Tanya, where the Alter Rebbe says, it's not important that you be a tzaddik, it's important that you do mitzvahs. Being a tzaddik is a good thing. But that's not why you do mitzvahs. Even where being a tzaddik is unimportant, the mitzvah remains important. Because being a tzaddik is a consequence, not a goal. So, how does teshuva transform? Number one, teshuva takes you to a place in your relationship with God where consequences don't matter. And so the bad consequences are erased. The fact that it's still a sin, that God can forgive. So consequences, forgiveness doesn't change. If you broke the glass, I can forgive you, but the glass is broken. Where the broken glass doesn't matter. What matters is I asked you not to break the glass. That I can forgive you for. I asked you not to do it. I can forgive if you do it. What about the fact that it's broken? On a deeper level, the consequence doesn't count. So the consequence is canceled and the sin is forgiven.